This is a book titled Irwin and the Avatar. Irwin and the Avatar Circulars. And the reason it's circulars is because it's been over a year that I've been sending out these circulars each week for people to read that are on my email list. Well, they seem to like it. And who knows, you might like it too. So here it is. And I'm going to start with the first one. What is eternal love? That's the title. True love is everything. But we have short lives. So how can it be eternal? Somehow, love is everlasting, even if we pass away. I am told I have passed out of one body after another. You would think I'd be used to it by now. Each time I fall in love, again and again. Maybe love is everlasting. Maybe that's because I'm also everlasting. I really like love. I'm glad it is eternal, just like me. Even if you bury me, you can't bury my love for you or your love for me. I must have said it 1,000 times, however many times we parted. My love is with you always. Lovingly, Irwin Luck. The next poem, it's a story poem, these circulars. Seek, and this is what you will find. That's the title. Dear Mayor Baba lovers and friends, I am happy to hear from those who write to me. I'm glad my book has meaning to those who have read it. For those who seek, I am sure you can identify with me and other seekers. However, there are seekers who are most fortunate because they have also found. I will explain. You can tell what kind of seeker you are. So many seekers are at the stage of looking for something, but they know not what. Others seek to fulfill their desires. Still others do seek advanced consciousness within the realm of the mind, which we are all caught up in. These are the meditators, yogis, and others who want to enjoy the beauty and power of the planes of consciousness. There are those who also enjoy seeking just for the joy of seeking, never expecting to find anything, only loving to search and see what comes their way. Then there are those who tire of the things that pass away and want to find the everlasting. So they begin to desire God, who they heard is everlasting, though they hardly have any idea of what God actually is. They are attracted because they also heard God loves everyone and has created everything. So they feel accepted as they are. Now they become a seeker of God Himself. Some seekers of God, not knowing what God is, but loving the idea anyhow to find this great being, throw caution to the winds and talk to God to come. So the one who is beyond the mind of the meditators is attracted to such a call. From his formless, infinite state that we cannot even imagine, he gets himself born in a human body just so he can look like us and meet those who call on him. He wants to clear the obstacles that stand in the way toward experiencing what no mind, however advanced, can know. Then behold, the seeker has finally found the one who embodies the source of all beauty, bliss, and power that he is seeking. He also discovers that this great God, who he has been praying to all along, is none other than his own higher self, pulling him toward itself. So what does our higher self tell us when we see it in human form as Meher Baba, the great God of everything? Such a simple thing anyone can do. Hold on to me, then wherever I go, you will go too. Such is the such is the journey of the seeker. This is titled, All is One. Really? It is said we are all one. Is that so? I see so many individuals. It depends on who is doing the looking. If you ask me, I see so many animals, people, houses, trees, landscapes, and stars. But if you ask the avatar, he sees the one self in all. Someone asked him if his consciousness was different from ours. He answered with one word: very. Well, if I saw myself as independent of the body I inhabit, if I could see myself looking all day and night at endless streams of thoughts and feelings, if I could see that I am consciousness looking through the minds of all beings everywhere, if I could see that everything is a crystal clear dream, then I would see, as you do, that the one self is behind the minds of all, that all is one self. Alas, I do not see as you do. But if I stick close to you, your avataric impressions will begin to rub off on me. When that happens, a time will surely come, if I am asked, is your consciousness different from mine? I too will answer, very. In his mighty love, Irwin Locke. You try that one out. Two kinds of truth. That's the title. Dear lovers of Meher Baba and friends, who would think there are two kinds of truth? Haven't we been taught truth is one? But the truth is there have always been two kinds. There is the truth about knowing everything that changes, and the truth that does not change. When the avatar comes, his mission is not only to let us understand the truth of our changeless, eternal, everlasting being, but also to personally experience the bliss of selfhood and the unlimited knowledge and power within each of us. Then you know the truth of your true self, based on personal experience. This truth is undeniable when you see it for yourself. In the world of our senses, we see only a fractional part of what is before us. So in the absence of seeing the whole picture, we form opinions. We get our viewpoint and can argue about which is right, which one is true. As a human being that has not the ability to know the truth of everything before us, that will surely pass away, then at best we can only surmise what might be good for everyone. But who knows what is good for everyone? So it is that the great masters like Lord Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, and now Meher Baba have in their wisdom advised humanity to treat each other as you would like to be treated, and thereby live a happier life in the world of the passing, until he makes you ready to personally experience the real truth of your own eternal being that does not pass. There are two kinds of truth: knowing that which does not pass, and knowing everything that passes. Only those who see the whole truth can know the two kinds and guide us to know. As always, I like hearing back from you. In his loving service, Irwin Luck. Oh, this is titled The Great Seeker. Dear Meher Baba lovers and friends, let me hear from you if you understand this and what you think. Good that while doing your seeker work, you keep your hand and your mind in the hand of the God-man. When the man who could read minds came to the master of the mind, who was also beyond the mind, he was surprised. He said, "I can't read your mind, it is blank." Upon which Meher Baba explained to him, "That is because I don't use the limited intellectual mind like you do. I use the universal mind that contains the minds of all beings, everywhere. To read my mind, you would have to rise to my level." In my opinion, at our stage, our best efforts leads us to control the mind. Yogis try to gain more and more control through many practices and disciplines. It is an effort to advance themselves. Some directed towards finding God, which is the term used to find your unlimited self, which is God. We do have the power, even in our limited and ignorant awareness, to draw down our God self into the world for us to see as someone else. At our stage of development, we do this with the power of love. This mighty longing, when brought to bear, can release our own unlimited being to appear as another person, whose purpose is to clear the obstacles that stand in the way of experience our own pure, almighty, all-loving self, which is what we call God. So when the self of ourselves says, "Put your hand in mine, and I will take you to the goal," then that is what to do. Loving him more and more is to love to become what you are more and more. This includes the infinite beauty, truth, love, knowledge, power, everything that you are. This longing is the inborn driving power in ourself to realize consciously what you are. So what do you do now? You are on the path. You are helping others with your Baba work of promoting his cause, to let others know that there's hope, to make others aware of what their life's journey is about. This benefits them beyond all measure, and you too. This is the grace of God guiding your path to the highest. Let this be a relief for your mind. Letting go is no more than what was important, losing its importance. then you not only let go in a most natural way, but what was let go does not even exist anymore as a binding. When the drop touches and merges with the ocean, it lets go of its limited self without any effort to merge with its unlimited self, to become the whole unlimited ocean that it always was a part of. The consciousness full of bindings becomes unbound. God help us all to understand this until we experience it. Yours most lovingly, Irwin. Well, there's something to think about and to do. It's titled, Put Yourself in God's Place. In case you never thought of doing that, this is going to tell you about that. Behold, along comes the avatar. How does he see things? He has a mission to bring you up to his level. So what is his level? What happens when you get there? What does he see? There was a man who asked Baba if his consciousness was different than ours. Baba answered with one word, very. When Baba spoke about how he sees things, he said he sees himself everywhere. Try that out. Just think, if you saw yourself everywhere as the self of everyone, how would you be then, behind the minds of all the bodies everywhere? What would be your work? Would it be to make bad people good? Or would your concern be to release each one from limitation, which is the cause of suffering of all kinds? Well, now we can better understand what Baba has to deal with, to enlighten us from what binds us. He comes as the lover and friend of everyone, no matter whether they be devil or saint, or the common man like us. Baba's mission is to liberate us. Our mission is to be liberated. We were meant for each other. There is no one on this earth worth straining our emotions over when bliss is at hand. Like Baba asked me once, if I give you knowledge, what would you do? Now I know. Share it. I won't be so presumptuous to know what God experiences other than what he explained. But I do know that while I am on this earth, I can better live my life with more compassion and understanding for others because of his sharing the understanding of his own experience and work. Lovingly, dear Baba lovers, friends, Irwin Luck. Okay. Each week there's a circular that was sent out, and this is this one. Something Great by Meher Baba. It's titled. Baba wanted the people who came to him to know something great. Something quite different than the formalities of religion, with its doctrines, dogmas, rituals, rites, and ceremonies. Something different than the business of making money, politics, and war. Something more than the uncertainties and problems of life and fear of death. Something beyond the heavens and torments of any hell. Something greater than the dreams of men and angels. Something beyond the limits of imagination and even the mind. Something vaster than the sky a place where no illusion could live. He claimed to be the Avatar, descent of God into human form. He would do something that no one else could do. I will quote him. I bring the greatest treasure that it is possible for man to receive. A treasure that includes all other treasures, that will endure forever, that increases when shared with others. Be ready to receive it. One day in the morning, a poem was read to Baba. It was written 300 years ago by a lover of God. After it was read, Baba sat quietly for a while. The room was still. Then Mayor Baba did something very great, something this poet longed for. Mayor Baba revealed to me and all in the room, this poem so touched my heart that I gave him his heart's desire. I liberated him. For me, as I was sitting there to witness what just happened, it was such a lesson proving that the love of the heart never goes unanswered. It took this poet all these centuries for it to reach the ear of the God-man. Then wherever he was, he got his heart's desire. He was freed from all limitation to enjoy the unlimited bliss, love, peace, and power of the soul. This timeless and eternal self-realization was now his experience. He was liberated by the Master when he least expected it. In his mighty love, Irwin. How about that? That's really great. This is titled Bliss, and this is actually written by Mayor Baba. It was not written by me, but I sent it out as a circular because this was so amazing for anyone to read. And this is what Mayor Baba said. The highest state of knowledge, bliss, and power, being a state beyond imagination, is a fact more emphatic, impressive, and real than the fact of your speaking and hearing me now. And more than your own existence at this very moment here with me. 1,000 times more is that fact of realization than the apparent fact of your present life and existence, which you believe to be true. This is hard for you human beings to accept. But to us who experience the reality, all of this is a mere dream. And this fact is so vividly perfect that he who has actually become one with God and experienced him cannot describe the experience with this mouth. Words are too poor a means to give a description of this highest state. But consider the powers of one able to give this knowledge, bliss, and power to others. Apart from this, what would you think when we perfect ones say that we can actually play with these, the highest knowledge, bliss, and power that are the attributes of perfection or truth? Otherwise, how do you think we would be able to give experience of these to others? How can your limited mind grasp and understand all this? For this is beyond the capability and powers of the intellect. So how can we explain that truth? How can we explain it to your intellect, which is limited and able to receive knowledge only up to a certain point? The Sadguru must take your intellect out of its present limited state and make it unlimited. In short, He must give you a personal experience of realization. And then you would understand it at once. I am the Lord. I am all knowledge, power, bliss. You see me, talk with me, and touch me, but I dwell in infinity. My state is indescribable. Later, Baba discoursed about different states of bliss. If the bliss of the God-realized soul is compared to a human body, then the enjoyment of yogis is like the shadow of that body. And the pleasure which a worldly man enjoys is like seeing the shadow in a reflection in a pool of water. Thus, ordinary people cannot even imagine what real bliss is. The Madzubs have mind and body, but no intellect and ego. So they enjoy supreme bliss completely. In yogis, besides the mind and body, there are intellect and ego, so they do not enjoy perfect bliss. That is why I say that ordinary men have not the foggiest idea what bliss really is. They cannot imagine it. And this was taken from from Meher Baba's book, Lord Meher, the pages of 686. And that's where I got this. It was recorded there, what Baba had said about his experience of bliss and how we and what our experience is. Now, these days, the coronavirus has become a big deal for everyone to think about. So Meher Baba and coronavirus is the name of this circular. Dear Meher Baba lovers and friends, my friend wrote me and asked me what I thought of the world condition. I wrote him back what I learned from Meher Baba. The world condition is not new. The world has always been going through conditions, good and bad. For now, we do the best we can, as people have always done. In the larger picture, this is a passing phase in the great journey to go from our limited selves to the unlimited. It takes a long time, as the journey takes us through many lives and deaths, to achieve that state of infinite bliss, knowledge, and power that is latent in each person. But how? As many of you must know, I chose to get the help of someone that is in that highest state of consciousness who knows how. Do what I say about the coronavirus. We must all die, but what's the hurry? Love you always, Irwin Luck. Marizod Gardens by Janet Luck. This is my wife, Janet, who passed away some years back from cancer. And she had such an incredible voice. She could sing like an angel. So I write, Dear Meher Baba lovers and friends, if you want to hear an angel sing, then click here, and then they can click and get a link to hear the song, Marizod Gardens. Janet wrote these words and music as well as singing Marizod Gardens from the album The Lord and the Lady. Janet was blessed with an enchanting voice that could move the love of the heart. If you would like a CD of Janet Luck singing the love songs that Saint Mira sang to her beloved Lord Krishna, then I'm making it available. The music accompanying her is as enchanting as is her singing. You have to hear this. Meher Baba said that Mira did not live at the same time as Krishna. But her love for him was such that he would like us to love him like that. Janet sings the songs in Hindi as Meera did and explains in English the meaning. This is such beautiful music together with the sweet sounds of Janet's voice that you will get the feeling of what Meher Baba meant of the love that Meera had for him when he was Krishna. Now this is another circular titled Reaction. How did Baba want his lovers to deal with reactivity? I believe Baba wanted his lovers to develop control. You can react, but you need to choose your reaction. It can become fun to choose reaction to events rather than to react out of habit. That is the game. You can even practice different reactions by creating imaginary circumstances that happen in everyday life. So when the events occur, you can react the way you practiced. Regarding emotional surges, you will always have emotional power. There is no end or stopping it, so we must direct it. We are able to do that so it does not hurt us or anyone. It is a great power when directed intelligently. You can choose how you react to man and God. In the end, it is all effortless. Like Baba, it becomes all love. This reminds me of what Baba's disciple, Adi Keirani, told me. He handled so many of Baba's correspondences. I will paraphrase him. He said, I know what Baba gave me to understand and tell others, but when a crisis occurs, I may forget what I know and lash out. I am not exempt from this either, but at least I know how to better myself. So now I pass it on to you. In his loving service, Irwin Luck. Now this is very important also, because everything is important. So this should be important too. It's titled The End of the Mind. The mind cannot extinguish itself, no more than a man can eat his own mouth. The mind must go for consciousness to be free from its absorption. As I understand Baba's explanation, all meditation is done with the mind. So doing things with the mind does not eliminate it. That is why the avatar comes to do this very thing. Then he picked up a jar. He explained that I was on the inside. All I have to do is remove the lid to be free, but once I thought about it, I knew I could not do it. That is why I was here. Only those who are free can free others. He would have to do it. He made me see no matter what I do with my mind, I am helpless. He is all-powerful, so what do I do now? Nothing. He will do it. Now I have to have patience. He will do it when the time is right for me and for everyone. He will balance all the impressions stored in this vast mind of mine. Baba explained that even the most advanced souls in the mental sphere cannot go to the root of the early evolutionary mental impressions stored in the mind. They can wipe out mind impressions going back a few lives. This gives experiences of the planes which are wonderful to the disciple. Meher Baba wants to take us from where we are to where we should be, not through the spiritual path, which is the journey through the plains. That is why perfect masters in the avatar are reluctant to give experiences that are in the mind and are illusory. They are God realized and only give that experience. No one else can do that. The path that Baba wants us to follow in this age of great activity is the path of selfless service. Not because it will give us God realization, but because it will help us live a better life till He enlightens us to the real self, which He will definitely do for those who love and stick to Him. That is His mission. Now I will tell you your future, not because I am psychic, which I am not, but because this is the path we are all on. Because of your love for God and truth, you will get drawn to Baba to see Him and be with Him in His next advent. The power of love is irresistible. You will always get what you love, no matter what it is. That is the law in this universe. Now you want God, so you must get it the way the universe provides it, through the enlightened ones. For you, it is the Avatar himself, the highest of the high, the master of masters. It is he who determines who will become perfect masters and experience God like himself. Do nothing while doing everything. This means live your everyday life normally. That is nothing. Stick to him by remembering him in everything you do. That is everything. You will eventually not only join him, but you will become him. This is the age-old path to the highest. One last thing. The false self-ego is like the eye of the hurricane. This eye appears to be separate from the space outside the wind circling it. But when the winds stop blowing, the same eye that was limited in size now becomes unlimited and is everywhere. So it is when the mind impressions cease its circling around our consciousness. Then the consciousness sees itself as unlimited and is everywhere. My book is online. You might like to read it. Are very important for people to gain an understanding of what Baba has been explaining all along. So that's why I sent out these circulars. Now this one is called Meher Baba and Our Destiny. Dear Meher Baba lovers and friends, Meher Baba declared, I have come down to your level to bring you up to my level. So this is our destiny, to come up to his level. So what is his level? He told me as I was leaving his company one morning in 1962, remember, I am God in human form. He repeated it twice. All along in my life, I was taught that God is all-powerful, all-knowing, the source of all love, and the maker of everything. So, to come up to his level would mean that I would have to experience what he experiences. Oh, boy. I could hardly imagine in my present life and experience such a thing, to come up to his level. Yet he says that that is his mission and reason for coming into our midst. Not to help us make money or give us family and children or a good job, preserve us from death or pain or multiply our daily joys. To ask for these things is like asking a king for a pin. If you go to a king, you ask for what only a king can give. If you go to God, you ask for what only God can give. However, we keep asking the King of Kings for the pins we are used to asking for. So out of his compassion, he gives us the pins we crave. But he also tells us why he has come amongst us. So what does he require to give us what he wants? What is required for this treasure beyond all imaginings of the mind? For experiencing the truth, who we are, for the love that lives in everyone, for the everlasting beauty of your unlimited self, living behind the bodies and minds of all selves everywhere. Love me with all your heart, for who I am, and do as I say. So it is written, and so he told me my destiny and why he had come into our lives. In his mighty love, Irwin. Now, how about this? How to play God's game. Wrote this for you to hear it. Dear friends and Mayor Baba lovers, how many thousands, millions, billions of people have died over the ages? Maybe as many as there are stars in the sky. Who can count that many? What happened to all these dead people? Bodies don't last long. Either they get worn out due to aging, or something happens to them by disease, accident, or man-made causes. We just can't stay in the body for long. Be ye a king or tramp, the inevitable must happen. There is always one thing to consider, and it all has to do with memory. I don't remember getting born or fitting into my body. How did I do that? Where was I before? How did I die from wherever I was? So much dying, you'd think I'd be used to it by now. Then along comes the avatar to explain things. It all happened over a game of checkers. It has to do with the game. There is a photo of Baba's brother Jal and Dr. Deshmukh playing checkers with Baba. I wrote a poem about this which tells exactly what happened. Titled The Game. 3 men sat down to play a game of checkers. 2 men began to play. They moved their pieces. The 3rd man watched. Now one side was winning. Suddenly the hand from nowhere also moved. A winning king was taken away. Now the winner was bewildered. What to do? The loser now had the advantage. He began to win. The game was unstoppable. Suddenly the hand from nowhere gave back the king. Now the loser had the advantage. The game went on. No one broke their stride. No one could tell what the hand of destiny would do. We were playing the game, all 3. Suddenly, the loser received 2 kings. But the winner got 3 more kings. All strategies became unglued. New methods had to be tried. Minds had to be sharpened. Wasn't there something familiar about this game? Isn't this the game I have been playing with you all my life? Just when I thought things were going one way, something you would do would be added or subtracted, never knowing next what would happen. Still, I would pick up as if nothing happened. Always you are watching and moving the pieces around to my delight and dismay. When the game is over, we will embrace and laugh over what we did. Sit down and have a cup of tea or a beer. Even God needs friends to enjoy his life with. How about that? All right. Oh, there's a postscript to that. P.S. I love this God game. The game is like a circle. It has no beginning or end. The circle of love keeps growing till it contains everything everywhere. It doesn't matter how many lives or deaths there are, we will win this game. What a glorious end! We will join all the other circle winners in this almighty God game of love. It's all done for the sake of love. This one is titled The Last Hypocrite. Dear friends and Mayor Baba lovers, here is how to be a hypocrite and become the last one. All you need to do is say you will do something and then do the opposite. That is all it takes to be a hypocrite. Everyone has a chance to do this. You can do it as many times as you want. But someone will be the last one. But who and why? So many unimportant questions. I met a man who said he knew everything, even that. He said he was also God, believe it or not. He also said that God will forgive everything except hypocrisy. Apparently, when he is in human form, he can change things and can forgive even the unforgivable. So he gives an example. When asked, he said, "Sex does not exist for me. To expect to enjoy the pleasures of the flesh and then to receive a spark of eternal bliss is not only impossible, but the height of hypocrisy. For those who want the bliss of God, of the Godhood, the source of all happinesses, sex will no doubt be the last vice you give up. That's also when you become the last hypocrite. Now you know why you are not God-realized. But all is not lost. You are with a mighty avatar who can forgive the unforgivable and to take you to where you should be. In his mighty love, Irwin. What does Mayor Baba want me to do now? That's the next one. Who doesn't ask that question? What does Mayor Baba want me to do now? That's the title. Dear Mayor Baba lovers and friends, he said the easiest way to realize God is to do what I say. But now you are no longer in the body to give instruction. So how can we do what you say? It is a good thing the mind is everywhere in every person, in every animal, in every conscious being. It is with the mind that we tell you what we want, whether you are in the body or not. Every prayer, every desire, every thought reaches you. We have only to think it and you hear it. So easy to contact you. Oh, but how do I get an answer? I can talk to you, but will you answer me? There is a way, the age-old way, whether he lives in a body or not. The same way he answered me when I did not have the money to travel to see him in his human form. I wrote to him my problem. He cabled back, "Don't worry. circumstances will adjust themselves. 2 weeks later, I was there with him. Before that, for 6 months, nothing would work out. I could not go. So how did it happen? What did he do to make it happen? I got the idea to make a big sale of my father's real estate. So I put a big ad in the Miami Herald. It would run for 2 days. The first day was incredible. Nothing happened. The second day, again, no one comes. The clock strikes 12 noon. So with my mind, I direct my thoughts straight to Mayor Baba, and I say, if I'm going to see you, I need a miracle right now. The doors of the office flew open and mobs of people came in. They wanted to buy everything. The phone started ringing. People couldn't wait to buy. By the time the day was over, he had answered me. I had the money to go. All I did was direct my mind to him. In my opinion, he works through your circumstances. Not through talk, then real things happen. When I saw Baba, he confirmed that it was his will that made it possible for me to come. So I say, if you want to contact Mayor Baba and get an answer, direct your loving thoughts to him. He will respond. In his loving service, Irwin Luck. This really happened. You know, that was not a fantasy. That really occurred. This is titled The Stripper. Dear God, lovers and friends, the great avatar of our age said that if you want to know God, one must be stripped of all desires. How do you do that? Desires can be intense. Like a fire, it can burn. No reasonable thought can put this emotional fire out. It must be fulfilled to die. But will it die, or will it want more fuel to feed itself? Is there no end, much less a death, to the fires of the soul's desires? But wait, I once put one out when I was just a baby. I was given a rattle. I loved my rattle. I liked shaking it, hearing the sound, being control of my hand, making it rattle when I wanted. If anyone tried to take it from me, I would cry. Everyone would know I intended to keep it. I would not let it go. But then I started to grow up. I lost interest in my rattle that I loved. I didn't care about it anymore. I didn't even want it anymore. And when it was gone, I didn't miss it. I didn't struggle to keep it. There was no feeling that I sacrificed anything. What I once wanted so badly, I was able to give up so easily in such a natural way. That is how desires come to an end. That is how you know you are desireless. When he says you must become desireless to know God, then only when in a most natural way what was important becomes unimportant can you become desireless. Here is my poem about someone who may come unexpectedly in disguise to do that. The stripper. There she was. Like an apparition, she appeared in the room. She was too beautiful. Men could not remove their eyes from her. Women were astounded. They envied such an attraction. She said nothing. Her graceful form spoke for her. She knew who she was. She began her dance, and the music moved in her. Her passionate moves were exciting to see. She could beckon the soul out of anyone, yet no one would approach her. She was too regal. She was royalty. You could only look and admire. The most brazen men fell silent before her. Such a wonder was she. The sweet sounds of her singing could still the most impetuous mind. Those were no ordinary sounds. These were the melodies of the longing heart. Her lyrics said it all. Find me, come to me, show me who you are. Her mystic singing, dance, and music kept pulling on my soul to come out. My own veils were being stripped away. I was seeing my own longings, love, bliss, the hidden beauty and wonders I knew was in me but could not see. She is most magnificent. I am stripped down to my naked core. This enchantress is so good. Can't even turn the page. All right. Who would believe it? At the most exciting point, this had to happen. All these pages stuck together.
Stripped of your desire.
Right. Okay. In case you had the desire to know the rest, here it is. All the coverings, all my wrappings, all my illusions were being stripped away by her. Just as I was about to go to her, she vanished, just as she had come. Suddenly I was back to my old self, but I was not the same. How could I be? The stripper of my soul had come to show me what I am. You never know how he's going to appear to you, to do his work, and strip you of all your desires. Now this is called the greatest prize in the universe. Dear friends and those who love Meher Baba, this is a letter I sent to my Baba lover friend who was going through some big problems. But it also holds true for anyone whose problems appear to be insurmountable. So I am sending this out for all to see and benefit from. My dear old friend, your letter reminds me of what happens when the Master wants to give the highest prize in the universe and beyond the universe to someone. The everlasting gift of God realization, which contains the bliss eternal, that is the root of happiness itself, and the glory of one's almighty self. Such a one is stripped of every attachment. Either you give it up inwardly, or it gives you up. One way or the other, the preparation is in place for the gift to be given and received. To say you are most fortunate is an understatement. To say it is most painful being rejected by those most close to you is also an understatement. To say you are loved by the one who is in everyone is like winning the lottery. 1 in millions wins Baba's lottery, for which no sacrifice is too great. How lucky can you be to suffer a torment that ends so wonderfully? Not just for you, but for all those who made you suffer for this gift. You have always been my brother and my friend. If my age does not get in the way, I expect to go to India again in the fall. I usually stop in Pune and would of course want to see you. Judy too has grown a lot and likes seeing you and is very fond of your wife. Guess what? The sun is coming out and the darkness is being wiped away. In his almighty love, your Baba friend, Irwin. Here's one. When Meher Baba gives an answer. That's the title. When Meher Baba gives an answer. Dear friends and Meher Baba lovers, sometimes answers come unexpectedly. This came from Meher Baba. If you realize a particle of that knowledge which I know, you would experience inexpressible bliss. Every object would impart happiness to you. Every object would tell you its part in the story of knowledge. And all the misery that's in the world would shine forth as heaven. Meher Baba. Now, here's what happened. Esfendi al-Vesali was suffering a great deal of pain. He asked beloved Baba inwardly to turn his pain into bliss. This really happened. He came to have bliss, whereas before there was pain. In my case, I used to worry. Baba told me not to worry, be happy. He has been telling this to the whole world. But as for me, I asked Baba to make it possible for me not to worry, as I could not depend on myself to do that. Then it happened, very quietly. No fuss. I still experience concern for matters that happen, but I don't get depressed over things. My state is calm and far more joyful. I believe he also adjusted my outer circumstances, so worries would not need to come up. He works differently with each person. So I wrote this to my friend who was himself feeling so frustrated with himself. You need a good shot of bliss. That is a real solution. All the other dilemmas will be settled once the cause is eliminated. No bliss? Then problems are there. Only the one who has it can pass it on to you. You know this already. Keep asking him. Don't stop. You need a fix. Tell him. Don't stop. He has a lot of love for you, like a son. What father would not help his son when he calls him? You need not suffer depression when help is at hand. This depression is a waste of your time. Use your precious time to ask for what has not been, for what seemed impossible. You will be a lot happier just for the effort. You already have the key. It is your love for him that took you ages to develop. No begging is necessary. Only a sincere desire to join him, so your consciousness and his become one. Love is the mightiest force there is, and you have it. Here is my poem that tells about how easy it is to achieve the impossible. It's called My Secret Wish. Make a wish with your heart. You can burn a candle, toss a coin in a well, wish upon a star, a note in a bottle floating in the ocean. So many wishes every day, made in so many ways. They all arrive at the same destination, Your loving heart beats in every chest. So everything comes to you. Every prayer must be answered. No one is left out. Love counts in the land of wishes. It is. It is the magic ingredient that reaches your ears, that makes dreams come true. If you remember this secret, however many times it is told, so easy to forget what makes wishes come true. Once I made a wish. This wish included everything. It arrived at your doorstep, where all wishes go. It came to you from my heart. No words were spoken. You told me what you wanted me to know. Somewhere, someday, somehow, I will give you what you want. This is not unusual for you. Make a wish, something impossible. See what happens when you add the magic ingredient. But who is there to ask you what you want? What is your wish? Who will answer it? Your wish for me comes to me. I am the one to answer your wish. It is the same wish you have for all who want to know what you want. So my Lord answered me from the depths of his heart. I want each one of you to make me yours, as you already are eternally mine. I love you always, Irwin Locke. That's the way to do it. Well, such love must be rewarded. That's the name of this. Such love must be rewarded. He said that to me and my brother. 200 people were in the great hall. He had me stand on one side of him and my brother on the other side. He told the gathering, "Here are the Luck brothers." He went on to say how many difficulties we had to overcome to be with him that day. Someone took a picture at that moment. What reward? I did not think of a reward coming, but I did want something. I wanted to know him as he really is, not just his physical presence. But the real Baba that is everywhere and everything, I wanted to know the soul of souls. I wanted this great master to show me his real self. My father said he would call the police to stop us from going. He wanted to put me in a mental asylum. I wanted to go. We had to escape and not tell him. Mayor Baba too had given conditions for us coming. One of them was not to go if it interfered with family harmony. We decided there was no family harmony, nothing to interfere with, we would go. Again, Mayor Baba repeated, such love must be rewarded. He continued to tell the difficulties we faced in order to see him. Now a letter was read out to Baba in front of this crowd. It was by a young girl who lived in the United States. She wanted badly to see Baba. She wrote how her parents were against her going. She wanted to know from Baba if she should come. Baba replied, why did she write? She should have just come. Now I have to take everyone into consideration. In effect, as best I remember, Baba said she should win her parents' consent to see Baba by her love for them. Now Edward and I were hearing this. I'm thinking that our father, who did not want us to go, was so upset he wrote to Baba that Baba should excommunicate us. We were thieves and would steal money to see Baba. We had no honor, could not be trusted. Baba should tell us not to come, or that we would never get God realization. My father could build a case for himself. Truth had nothing to do with it. But I was not worried. I was glad he wrote to Baba. I knew Baba would know just how to handle him. So Baba sent him back a letter not to worry, that we should win Father's love for Baba by our love for him. Baba says he wants us to beg for Father's permission to go. Baba ends by sending his love and blessing to Father and the family. Father liked Baba's reply, but did not change his mind. So I went up to my father and asked his permission to go. He said no, and that I was mentally ill. I did what Baba said and asked his permission. But Baba did not say I had to take his permission, so now I would go. Any question of whether we did the right thing to see Baba was settled when Baba called us both up to him and told everyone of the great difficulties we had to see him, and then said, "Such love must be rewarded." And then confirmed it with his reply to the Baba girl who wanted to see him, but was also faced with hostility from her family. I heard this said a long time ago. It is true till this day. Whatever is done to get closer to God is always the right course for all concerned. In his mighty love, Irwin Luck. Endless Mayor Baba Rewards. That's the title. Dear followers, lovers, and friends of Mayor Baba, my last circular was titled, "Such Love Must Be Rewarded." This is what Mayor Baba said to me and my brother, so someone wrote to me asking, what rewards did I receive? Now I will let everyone know what I wrote back. I feel rewarded all the time. I was with the avatar of this age. I visited him a few times where he lived. And for 10 years, till his passing, when I wasn't with him, he continued to guide me and the family with so many letters, cables, and other communications. He was in continuous touch. He had me meet his worldwide family, who were under his loving guidance. I was able to film and record their lives with him and for all the world to see. He promised me the highest experience of God and himself. Shall I go on? When he dropped his body, I got to go to his samadhi to see him before he was covered, and then help cover him in the tomb. Even outwardly, he gave me a wonderful place to live, with trees and a pond outside the glass wall, with sliding glass doors. I can count each day the ducks that fly in to swim in the pond and walk on the grass. And archives with the most wonderful pictures, tapes, diaries, and all manner of documents of his life that the world will love to see. Glad you asked the question. Glad you asked the question. It is a good reminder to me to count my blessings, something we each have to do more of. And that is only so far. It is not over yet. In his mighty love, Irwin Luck. More to go. Love, love, love. Isn't love great? How's that for a title? Dear lovers and friends of Mayor Baba, like my mother used to say, isn't love great? Mayor Baba loved my mom. When she visited Mehrabad, Mehra said she was a saint. She was the sweetest woman and would do anything for anyone. But a saint? Probably because she was able to live with my father. Boy, was he a number. But Baba liked him a lot. Baba would even come out of seclusion to hear his wild letters. Why? Because of love. Love and more love. The one thing that makes life worth living more than any other thing. How to love Baba? So many Meher Baba lovers ask this. Baba himself answered this when he said, how do you love anyone? Love me like that. Even if you were to fall in love with me, I can purify. He would tell us that he had come to help us find our true self, which is everywhere in everyone. Such a love for all is all-powerful, all-knowing. It is the bliss eternal, the very source of all happiness. So I say, isn't love great? Love, 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 and ever more love. Yours truly, Irwin Locke. You can't go wrong with love. Now, this one here is really something that everyone would like to visit. It's titled, Welcome to the Avataric World and His House. My dear friends and lovers of the Avatar, welcome to my world. But whose world? What world? Which world? When Meher Baba had the popular song sung before him, before the 5,000 people in his presence, during the East-West Gathering in 1962, he told us all, welcome to my world, and what a world it was. Not the planet, as so many people think. When the line in the song came up, he's got the whole world in his hands, we had no doubt whose hands it is in. When I was with him, it was not the same as being with anyone else. I was not able to worry about the struggles of everyday life. They all fell away into the nothing that was before the struggles began. It was a place where I was fully alive and awake. In this atmosphere, I felt truly at home. Divine presence finally had a meaning. I was being welcomed to his home in his world. Maybe my poem describes it best. Mama and Papa. You built a house, but no one lives in it. This house would never sell, even though everyone wanted it. He was the great dream maker who made the real world. In his kitchen, he could make anything. He was an expert cook. He had a recipe for everything. Once the thinking started, this cook could materialize it. He could cook up stars and their planets and all their populations of human and subhuman bodies and minds of every kind. He was a master of the rise and fall of entire civilizations. He knew his way around this kitchen. His recipes were not given out freely. No abuse was allowed by the uninitiated. There is a dining room where you serve the most tasty delicacies, but they cannot be eaten by the mouth. Still, everything must be digested. The greatest musicians, artists, leaders, and even saints sat at your table. They ate your food of genius, knowledge, and love. You filled their plates to overflowing, till even they could eat no more. In this house there is a bedroom, not for sleeping, but for staying awake forever. It is a place of great rest, where the energy of sleep is gotten without losing consciousness. A place of great solitude, where it is possible to be in touch with all that exists. The bliss of sleep while fully awake to everything. Such a happy state cannot be described in your bedroom. This house also has a living room for visitors that you invite. You show them how to live. There is no sin here. He who comes to this living room tells the truth and hears the truth. All minds here are transparent. Lies and deception have nowhere to hide. So in your living room, it is easy to find what is real. No excuses here. Who am I? What am I? What is my place in the universe? Do I have a soulmate? Lots of questions. In your living room, I learned to live without needing to speak. You teach by showing, by doing. This house has a laundry room and bathroom. Dirty, depressing, ignorant thoughts and feelings are cleaned here. Once the cleaning starts, nothing can stop it. You come here to relieve yourself of the sins of the world. You flush them into your ocean of light, love, and energy. Nothing is wasted. They return clean, beautiful, and ready for use again. Such is the Master's bathroom in this house. Yet, even you do not live in this house. You visit it once in 1,000 years. It is very old. You built it to stand the rigors of time. This is the house that will never be sold, even though everyone wants it. You are my mama and papa. You love me and take care of me. You have a world full of children, young and old. When each are ready, you gather them together and take them home to your house whenever you come. I told you you would like to visit this place, but you can't buy it. Tears that make the man. Dear Meher Baba lovers and friends, weeping is what people do when the church is bombed, or when the children going to school are shot. But what does God do when he hangs on a cross or is skinned alive as Shamsi Tabriz when he proclaimed his divinity? Men, women, children weep when these things happen. Does God weep too? He who is all-powerful, all-knowing, does he weep? Why does he allow this when it is said he can do anything? Oh my, the eternal questions. The forces of evil, forces versus the forces of light. Good versus evil. We live in a world of opposites where anything can happen and does. All this just to advance our consciousness so we can experience eternal bliss beyond the pains and pleasures of birth and death. So there was a lady who asked Meher Baba to take upon himself some of the universal suffering that she saw Baba suffering. Did I say to take upon herself this suffering? Baba explained that if an ordinary person was to suffer what he takes upon himself, the person would drop dead immediately. But then, don't forget, I am also in infinite bliss that can do this, so I can do this. He explained that as God, he is the self of everyone, in both good, in the good and the bad. He takes no sides that favor one side over the other. He would say that eventually everyone comes to his feet to be liberated from all limitations. Self-knowledge, bliss, and the unlimited powers of the soul is our true heritage. When he comes into the world, he comes to balance the opposites and give enlightenment to those who come to him for that. When the forces of light and dark clash, it brings about the awakening from the dream that the universe and all it contains is real. The hardest thing I have to do is to turn the page. Who could believe? Here it is. Now consciousness must be shaken to wake up, just as a sleeping man is shaken to wake up. This method to acquire the joys of our infinite existence has been going on for ages. Now the awakener comes again to do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. Once again he proclaims, I have not come to teach, but to awaken. Hail the Avatar, the crown jewel. In his mighty love, Irwin Luck. Now we come to this one spark of enlightenment. Dear ones who read my circular messages, what is enlightenment? Much has been said about it from both the unenlightened and the enlightened. It sounds good, infinite bliss to begin with. Wow, who would not like it? Infinite, what a thing. No end, limitless. The well of happiness that has no bottom. Infinite is great. There is nothing like it, so I heard. How can I deserve this great infinite? Can it be deserved? If so, I may as well stop now. I am not the deserving type. I had a friend that was invited to come to see the great avatar of this age. This avatar gave him 10 instructions, things for him to do. Then, in the same letter, he was told that he would fail these instructions, but he should come to see him. My friend was undisciplined, a troublemaker, a womanizer. He would take advantage of anyone, but he had a saving grace. He was interested in the beyond, and Mayor Baba was of the beyond. One day it happened that I was able to offer him an airline ticket to see the Avatar. He refused to take it. He said, I am undeserving. I can't go. So I said, he didn't say you had to be deserving. Don't make this up. So he went. He met the enlightener. No one comes and walks away the same who meets the one who is in eternal bliss and the knowledge of everything. My friend did not walk away the same. He will never be the same. Neither am I the same. Look at me. I'm writing poems about masters and love. I never used to do that. What will you do when your time comes? In his great love, Irwin Locke. Now, this is really something you're going to want. Everyone I've ever heard wants this. How would you like to go to Mayor Baba's Avatar School? You're going to find out what it is. Dear lovers in the world and beyond, everyone has to go to school to get an education. But what do we get taught? In another 1,000 years, what will teaching be like? What will you learn? Will it be unrecognizable compared to what I went to when I went to school? What if someone had a school who himself knew all there is to know? What would he teach the children? Well, it happened. He had a school. He arranged their room and board. No money was paid for their education. He would teach them how to live in the world, and things the world would not know for ages. I heard about this in 1971 in a book. I thought, is this true? If so, I will go and film these people who went to his school. I wanted to hear from them what happened. No second-hand accounts. One of the children, Abdullah Pakravan, grew up. 40 years had gone by since he was in his school. I wanted to see him. I was told he does not give interviews. But when I said I want to film what happened in Mayor Baba's school, then I was told he said to come. I stepped into his office and found out he was the head of the Iranian Red Cross. The interview would now begin. Something the world would come to know about Mayor Baba's Avatar School for the children, young and old, of the world. I am attaching to this email the soundtrack from the video of the actual interview. You will hear Abdullah in his own words tell what happened in the school of the master who knew everything. And then I put
Myself, Abdullah Pakravan, was happy to meet Mr. Lak, Miss Ann, and Brother Dr. Shafaha in Bandar Abbas. And today, at his request, I am telling a brief story how I went to India and joined Meher Ashram of Meher Baba. I don't remember quite exactly the date, but I think it was something about beginning of 1927. I was living in Bandarilinga. I received a journal named Hablul Mateen, was printed in Calcutta. There was a notice in it that a high school, Babajan High School in Ahmadnagar, accepts students free lodging and boarding. As I was, after getting more knowledge and studies, therefore I intended without delay and went to Bombay and then to Ahmadnagar and to the school. Hardly about my age was 16 to 17. At the beginning, at my own desire, I lived alone in separate hut that was given to me, not mixed with the boys in the ashram. But some time passed. One day, Baba himself saw me there at my tent, and he told me that you go up and join ashram, it's better for you. I said, I have more times here for my studies, but anyhow, I agreed and joined the boys up. Well, we were going to school and studying for a few months. Then it was scheduled that every day a spiritual class to be held, and some knowledge of the prophets and the saints was narrated and given to us. And especially he pointed to me that I see in you the man you can be, and I can make of you gold. I was, of course, interested and impressed on it, but days passed till one day, unknowingly, at the lunchtime, my what I can say, I was changed suddenly. An incident happened. To me, it was so crying unintendedly and shivering, although it was no winter. I was not sick, and I felt giddy, such as that everything around me was spinning and whirling and crying and crying. So I was removed from there, and in the room was covered by a blanket, and informed Baba and himself had come up, and he patted me, and I got up, and he ordered for a tumbler of milk to be given to me and have a rest. From that moment, everything was changed. Then I couldn't go to school. I didn't like the books. I didn't like to read. I didn't like to mix with people. I didn't care for my body, my clothes, or my sleep and food. This continued for some time, and I was in a sad state, always meditating and all alone here and there. When one day in the evening, it happened that I fainted. In the spiritual class that one day Baba himself joined, he began lecturing on love of God and how it is obtained, that he mentioned a perfect master can give.
Even though I didn't go to his school as Abdullah did, I must admit now I feel like I was there. So I wrote this poem of my impressions of what went on in Meher Baba's school, gleaned from what Meher Baba himself explained, titled Meher Baba's Avatar School. I didn't know I was in his school. It was not like other schools. Here I was taught about the planes of light, the mastery of thoughts and feelings, about the nothing and the everything, and most of all, about you and me. I always knew there was a school like this, but I didn't know where. The schoolmaster was no ordinary man. He knew each of us and loved us. He was kindly and knew exactly what he was doing. I could trust this master of letters with my life. I was safe here. My mind became very sharp, so I didn't have to study hard. The schoolmaster awakened my intuition. I could anticipate what was to be and remember what was. First grade was the best. He taught us how to read sentences in a book, then to read what was between the words. He showed that silence can speak, and how to read what was unspoken. We would go on field trips, and in more advanced courses they could see with the mind. That was a lot of fun, touring the world this way. Visiting the past or future could be surprising. Things were often different than what was in the books. In the last grades, you can see the source of all things, be they of this world or beyond. Everything is known. The final test is whether you can walk in everyone else's shoes. Once the schoolmaster is satisfied that you know all he taught, then you graduate and become a schoolmaster yourself. whether you teach others or not. What a great school you have. I'm glad you let me come. There's none like it. Your avataric school. Who wouldn't want to go there? Well, now we come to this one. I have been wrong before, but never about this. Dear ones of Mayor Baba and friends, do you know the difference between God and the devil? The devil will give you something for your soul. That is because God will annihilate your desires in order to free you from them and make you experience your unlimited nature. He comes to take his babies out of jail, where you are bound by every limitation the universe can imprison you with. You don't have to believe me, because the truth is I don't know anything. I am in the thinking mind that can think anything. God knows what I will think next. That is why I say I don't know anything. I don't even know what my next thought will be, or how I will feel on my emotional roller coaster. I don't know what kind of miracle it is that not knowing anything doesn't bother me. I must have gotten used to it. When Baoji, who could talk for hours, would start his talk, he would often say, I want you all to know that I don't know anything. Now you can ask me anything you want. Then they would ask non-stop the man who says he doesn't know anything. Yet Baoji was great, because he would tell great stories of what happened when he lived with Mayor Baba. But still he claimed to know nothing. That was Mayor Baba's department. For him it was Baba who knew all and was able to help all. As for me, I don't need to know everything. Love is enough. It keeps me going even when my smart brain tells me, if you want to know how to love God, think of beauty. Everyone loves beauty. When Hafiz fell in love with the most beautiful girl he had ever seen, he wanted that girl. But he was an ugly man, and the girl never noticed him. So he thought of using the yogic tantric circle to get his wish. He put himself in the circle and fasted for 40 days, never leaving the circle. So what happened? It is told the Archangel Gabriel appeared to him to grant his wish. When he saw how beautiful this angel was, he forgot about the girl and said, if this is how beautiful this angel can be, how much more beautiful must God be? I want God. See what beauty can do? It can set even an ordinary ugly man on a course to see the beauty of God. Give me beauty anytime, the ultimate attractive force that can make you love even God. Taking my word for it won't do you any good unless you do it yourself. That is where the avatar comes in, to help us do what we cannot do ourselves. In its almighty love, Irwin Locke. Circular. Do you have time? Dear friends and lovers of Mayor Baba, what time is it? Time is not what it seems. It depends on who asks. There was a man who had nothing to do. He said, I have plenty of time. The businessman said, I have so little time. What does God say? Are you like the old man who has plenty of time? You live in eternity where time is endless. But there is always time for love. Who knows about love? Such a magical feeling. The emotional body, a world of feelings. If you enter that world, you will see every desire you ever had. What a place this is. The king of all desires is love. It sits on its own throne. It rules the world of feelings, which are many. Every vice, every power, every temptation, every lover has to pass through this room. Every pain and pleasure can be found here. What a place for the brave, not a place for cowards. The fires of hell and the joys of heaven. There is time for everything. This room can tire anyone. Where is there room for love? I never thought of eternity till now. If it is good enough for God who made it all, then it's good enough for me. Finally. This is something everyone thinks about. The world situation and Meher Baba. Dear lovers of the Avatar and friends, I received a letter from a Baba lover who was worried about the politics and money driving so many politicians these days. So I wrote back to him about the big picture as Meher Baba sees things. You might like to see this too. Dear Jay, you're such a loving soul. You want to see love and justice in your life and in the lives of others. So you get wrapped up in the news, which may not only be inaccurate many times, but shows the darker side of life in this world. The answer to your questions about the misuse of money and politics is in your own writings. The Lord of the universe came into our world to enlighten us about things within our understanding, which is so fractional compared to what there is to know as to why things happen the way they do. So he tells us not to worry about things we have no control over. He tells us that the perfect masters are taking care, so the burden is not on us who live in great limitation. The good and bad guys and things that happen are there to awaken our consciousness, to realize our true selves, which need no government or anyone to do anything for us. How lucky can you be to know such a great master? So do the simple thing. Don't worry, be happy. Let people do what they do, including making every mistake, and love them all. All that is needed by anyone is to wake up from the dream by connecting themselves to the Avatar, as you have done. In his love, Irwin Luck. It's not the same when you realize what it is that really is happening as Meher Baba reveals it. It's not the same. You can't worry when you know who's pulling the strings. So I tell people, and I've told them this before, whenever they get too concerned about the world situation and all that is occurring that they see on the TV, I tell them, remember, who's running the show. Once you got that down, it's going to be okay. Because he knows what he's doing to awaken your consciousness to what's real. You know, this is a poem, and they're not really altogether poems. They're stories about what happened, and it contains a lot of depth of understandings in here. That's why I ask people sometimes to send me feedback so that I know if they even understood what it is. But they're simple, they're not that complicated. And all the feedbacks I ever got were really just excellent. Nevertheless, we'll start with this one. Does God laugh? That's a good one. Dear friends and Meher Baba lovers, the Avatar wanted to hear the funniest jokes in the land. So he sent out a few of his disciples to travel the country to find the funniest jokes and bring them back to him. Then he went back into his seclusion to do his work that no one else could do. He was well equipped to do this. 5 perfect masters had brought him into the world. They equipped him to accomplish this job of enlightening and even the darkest souls. He was given the keys to unlock the conscious state of eternal bliss. Another key was to that knowledge to which nothing can be added or subtracted. The key to the door of the universal powerhouse, and the levers to control the awesome energy to enlighten millions. They gave him the mastery of the mind. No desire could ever control his action. He could inspire millions to achieve any height, even to be like himself. This was a big work that only an avatar could do. His disciples too were working day and night to serve him, carrying out his every command to help him in his awesome work. Now it was time for him and his disciples to have some fun, relax, to laugh, and for that the men had come back to tell the best jokes anyone knew. Baba also had fun with amusing incidents. When the hula hoop craze came to India and things got too serious, Baba decided to have some fun. He asked the most unlikely person to spin the hula hoops on his hips. He twisted and turned, trying to keep the hoop turning. Everyone had a good laugh and Baba loved it. Another incident was when a man with a big stomach talked too much. Baba took his bowl and bounced it off the man's stomach. The man stopped. Everyone had a good laugh, including the man. One more humorous incident. A man and woman came to Baba to bless their getting married. Baba would chuckle seeing them. When they left, the Mandali asked Baba what was so funny. Baba explained that these two were kings in a previous life, always fighting each other. Now they come to me hand in hand in love, wanting me to bless their marriage. So, does God laugh? You bet he does. In his mighty love, Irwin Luck. Jai Meher Baba. Well, I guess you got to be an avatar to have that kind of humor. This is titled Omnipresence. Dear seekers of the divine presence, what is omnipresence? What is my presence? You who are everywhere must be present everywhere. Like a fish in the water is the same for all fish. Take the water away, and all fish will die. Like the air, take the air away, and all air breathers will die, including every person alive. We depend so much on these oceans, but that is all nothing compared to your presence. I feel my presence. You feel your presence. Everyone feels the same presence of themselves. There is one presence, and we all feel it. Take away your omnipresence, and no one will be present. We would cease to exist. But that can never happen, because your presence has no beginning or end. You are connected to everyone and everything everywhere. Where can I go but to you? I will follow the path of my own presence to you, till it becomes boundless like you. Come, great Lord, come. I want to feel your all-pervading presence. Merhaba. Our presence is so connected to him. It is a road straight to his all-consuming presence that is everywhere. But we start with ourselves. Now this one is titled, Let the Truth Be Told, the book. I read it in a book, no ordinary book. This book told about someone who knew everything. A real person, not a fantasy. Boy, was I interested. Even if the worst scoundrel were to stand before me and I had the wish, I could make him realize God in less time than the flash of a second. Meher Baba. Imagine that. To experience the root of happiness, the source of all power, the creator of knowledge, the experience of my own everlasting existence. All this in less time than the flash of a second. No wonder I was interested. So I said, I must meet this man. I want him to grant me his wish. I do not think I am a scoundrel like the scoundrel he spoke of. But who knows what I have been, knocking around the universe for as many lives as it takes before hearing about the Master who could do such a thing. The topper was love. He liked eternal love. Who doesn't like love? What I wouldn't do for love. Now the moment arrived. I went to see this universal loving man. I heard he asks everyone who comes to him what they want. My time had come. He asked me what I want. I said, I want to be like you. This really happened. For 10 years he would send me so many letters and cables guiding my every step. He even let me know my future. When will this happen? It can't be found on the calendar. When he sees the time is right. What you can wait an eternity for will take him less than a second. Then one day during one of my visits, when I was leaving him, he clapped his hands. I turned around, he said, one day I will give you the highest experience. Later he said, you will see me as I really am. The name of the book was Listen Humanity. So I listened. When it is your turn to come before him, what will you ask? Tons of love, Irwin Luck. This one is not, it's not a mind bender actually, but it is very interesting. I think you'll like it. As a matter of fact, I say that about it. All of my circulars, I think you'll like them, and they seem to like them. So here's another one. There is a man in my mirror. That's the title. Dear everybody, everyone knows the difference between your reflection and yourself. There is no chance that you could ever mix up which is you. But wait a minute. Doesn't the person in the mirror look exactly like you? Copy your every move. Live in a world just like yours. But still I know who is real and who is not. Now I am told that I've been looking in a different mirror all my life. But there was one big difference. The man in that mirror I keep thinking is the real me. It is said the mind is the mirror of the soul. I look in that mirror and there I am. For years, even lifetimes, they say, I have been looking in my mental world mirror, thinking the man in that mirror was me. Then along comes the knower of everything. He also stands with me in front of my mirror. He says, the world I see is not real. I tell him it looks real to me. Then he tells me it is just a mirror. And there are worlds of people looking into the same mirror, everyone thinking it is real what they see. He even goes so far as to say it is he alone that is doing the looking, but in that mirror he sees himself as many. In this mirror game where opposites rule, no one gets out of this hypnotic absorption. The illusion of who I am is complete. He says he is the only one. But when I look in that mirror, I can't believe this. So what to do? Is there a way out to see myself without a mirror? There is an old saying, become desireless to realize your true self. When you don't want anything in that mirror, the attraction is gone. Nothing there to hold you anymore. So now the real self can be seen, the one behind the many imaginings of the mind. To say I am the real one, made of love, knowledge, existence, an ocean of bliss and power, consciousness of everything, complete in every way, all because I am real. I am not the man in my mirror. Lots of love. Irwin. All right. Now, this one titled, Help is on the Way. After that last one, you're going to need this help. Everyone needs help. Sooner or later, you will need it. We just don't know everything. We just don't know what will happen next. There are so many people who say they can help. Books are written. You can go to a psychiatrist, a family counselor, the clergy, even a fortune teller, maybe an astrologer, or your closest friend. One day, I needed help. I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what to do. The others that wanted to help could not do so, try as they might with all kinds of advice. You must also know what that is like. But I was lucky. I knew someone who knew everything. I would not go or ask over petty matters I could solve or get help in solving. But this was different, so I went to my all-knowing friend. Please help me, I said. I didn't just say it. I felt it through my body and mind. My best friend and Lord answered me. I have come down from the highest level in order to bring you up to my level. One day, I will give you the highest experience. You will be amongst a few who will see me as I really am. Meher Baba. I am just an ordinary person. How was I to know my call for help would reach such mighty ears? When you ask for help, what will you ask for? Love you all, Irwin. Everyone loves love. Well, here it is. The love of my life, a love story. It is said everyone has a soulmate, the perfect companion to yourself. Majnu loved Lila more than he loved himself or all his possessions. Majnu was so in love with her. But as the fates would have it, they got separated. She was abducted, but he knew not where. Who took her? Why was she taken? Where was he to look for the love of his life? Have you seen my Lila? I don't want to live without her. I must find her. The days turned into weeks, months, and years. Still, he would ask everyone he would meet. She must be someplace. The pain of his separation was too much. It drove him to desperation. Look at how the Lord of all works. When he wants someone, desperation does it every time. So the great Lord, seeing how ripe this soul is, who is tearing his heart out for love, sends a messenger to him. Sir, there is a man who can help you. His heart is very big. Go to him. He knows all about love. He will help you find who you seek. With these words, hope poured into him. Nothing would stop him from seeing this man. But does he know where the love of my life is? I can tell you this. You never know what the Lord of love will do when he wants you. He rules. He rules the law of the lawless infinite. So he went and was told, now you are drawn to me. It is the love of your life you want. It is said that the great Lord, in one timeless moment, made him one with the heart of everyone. Oh, Lila, I see you in everyone. You are everywhere. You are forever the love of my life. Irwin. If you seek the love of your life, this is how it happens. Get good and desperate. The Nazar. What is Nazar? It is when God himself looks over you. It is the eye of God on you. His Nazar is important. It allows you to advance on the path to realizing yourself as unlimited and infinite. No boundaries to your love, knowledge, power, and bliss, or the beauty of your everlasting existence. He won't take you through the spiritual paths, which is the path through the planes of higher consciousness. This is the path that the advanced beings and saints are on and take you through if you join them. They too have more to go and can't take you beyond their own level. They too need the help of your Nazar. All beings on whatever level are eligible for your Nazar, simply because the self is real while inhabiting a body and mind. Nothing is written behind the mind to cloud your vision. So he takes you to where no one, however advanced, can go. The great mind reflects the true nature of my real, unlimited, loving self. O great Avatar, you have promised to take me from where I am to where I should be. What more can a man born in selfishness ask for? How can a man who sees himself separate from everyone in this vast universe be made to see himself as one with everyone? You know the mind and heart of all beings. No wonder you can do this, the perfect companion to everyone. When you wrote me in a letter, don't worry, do as I say. My Nazar, all-seeing eye, is on you. Another time, he said, distance means nothing to me. Time and space are no barriers for me. I will be with you wherever you are. Isn't this what he has been telling the whole world? Each time he comes, no one is separated from him. He is the one self in all, as your very self. It is impossible not to have his help when you call with all your heart. O great Lord of the blind, in life and after death, you are my Lord and friend. I am following my heart to you. Here is my poem about this. Blind man. I am blind, but I can see. Physical eyes cannot see what I do. There are other blind men. There are many. They can see the outer world. Trees, people, stars in the sky. But most cannot see what I can. I am learning from you how to see. You can see the heart of a man. What he thinks, how he feels, what he wants, what he suffers, what makes him happy. But the blind cannot see this. Their eyes are open, but still, they do not see. I talk to them, they talk to me, but nothing is said. Who won the game? What date did Rome fall? Who took out the garbage? How old are you? Who cares? You came along and didn't say anything. When you looked at the game, you could see the thoughts of each player, their strengths, their fears, their energies. You could tell who would win and what would be lost by winning. You could see the chain of events and circumstances that no man could control that led to the date of the fall of the empire. You could see the unlimited self and life force operating in the body of the garbage man. You could see the age-old history of every man that approached you and how he came to be with you this day. I too heard about you and went to see you. I came from the land of the blind. I wanted to see beyond physical sight like you do. I can see. It is true. He can give sight to the blind. Irwin. hope you can understand my poems and these stories and the depth to which they will take you. This one is titled Home at Last. When a man is born on this planet, he doesn't know where he is. It is all discovery. Who is there to tell you what you will do during your earthly career? You come in with a set number of heartbeats to make of your life as you will. There are so many others like you, a world full of people like you. I started with mother's love. I was lucky to have that. Nothing was required of me, but that was not to last. Soon I would be off trying to survive and maybe making the world of all of us a better place. Somewhere along the line, God was mentioned. What's that? Someone you can't see, I was told. Still, he is someone to be reckoned with, an almighty power who loves me. I don't know about this. I'm not sure I even love me. Why would someone else, who I am hearing about for the first time, want to love me? I think I'll go home, if only I had one. Maybe if I ask the big God, who they say hears everything, maybe if he loves me so much, he will get me a home. What have I to lose by asking the God I cannot see? Stranger things have happened to me in my life. So I told my friend my story. He says there is a book. I can read it. It will answer all my questions. I wrote a poem about this in case anyone else out there wants to go home. It's titled The Om. The point from which all things began, infinite universes, each one with infinite galaxies, with all manner of worlds and life, wherever it is found. The avatars, perfect masters, have all spoken of it since the time language began. The science of the day trying to discover what is since the beginning of everything. Children, young and old, sitting together humming Om, the original first sound from which all things emerged. Imagine a throat trying to make the first sound that started it all. The Om. Not just the beginning of universes made of matter, but the beginning of the greater universes made of pure energy, from which is made the worlds of matter, but also the beginning of the vaster universes of the mind, which holds the universes of energy and matter together. Who can understand and measure what you have created beyond our vision? Who can know the Om, where all things inner and outer sprang from? Only you, my darling, could have done such a thing. To create such a stage, such a panorama, where anything and everything can happen. What an entertainment. The ultimate adventure, an endless place for endless love stories. The Om. It is said this is but a speck in your being. You cannot be called God because no sound can describe the maker of the first sound. You are truly the nameless one. Infinite intelligence, consciousness, the force that holds all things together. Love almighty, pouring through the Om with only one purpose, to take us back home. Lovingly, Irwin. And so there you have it. Here we go. Now, We need something light. How about something intoxicating? This is titled Divine Wine. I sent the Lord of Life and Love chocolates. In each wrapper, I slid a note. You are the highest of the high. We love you and always will. We appreciate you very much. So many chocolate bars sent, so many times by me and my brother, each with a note inside. Then one day a cable comes. You're sweetening my mouth now with chocolates. One day I will sweeten your mouth with divine wine. Mayor Baba. This turned out very well. Who would think chocolates for divine wine? Talk about intoxication. I am happy to try this. Here is my poem that tells about what happened. It's titled, I'll Drink to That. It could have been 1,000,000 years ago that I heard about the tavern. It has been a long search to find this place. Books have been written about it. Songs have been sung of it. People have whispered about it. Masters have kept it a secret. No one would tell me where it is. Still, I searched. Then one day, unexpectedly, I met you. You asked me for a box of chocolates. You said, you're giving me chocolates now. One day, I will give you divine wine. I was so intrigued that I began to follow you everywhere. Finally, someone knew something about this tavern, where everyone speaks in song, where laughter is the norm, and where the wine of love never stops flowing. A place where everyone is intoxicated with unearthly joys. In this place, the fountain of ecstasy is always gushing out. Just when I thought there was no more of this magic brew, the tavern master pours another round. I take flight into new realms that makes me fly on currents of bliss that are like the waves of the ocean. Together we fly and sing love songs that only this intoxicating brew can inspire. This tavern is where I live now. I searched for this tavern for ages. But when I met you, the tavern came to me. I now know truth is not in words, but only in your heavenly brew. I'll drink to that. And so will you, no doubt. Well, here we go. This is titled Cold Fire. There was a time when I was sitting with my Lord Mayor. He asked me what I was thinking. I said I was thinking to know God. He asked me, are you willing to pay the price? I did not answer. A picture of myself burning at the stake came into my mind. I thought if that would be the price, how could I stand it? Then he patted my knee. He let me know not to worry about that. It would be left to him. We were in the car driving along when this occurred. I never thought for a moment that fire does not need to burn. There was a time when I was a young boy that I learned of a fire that had no heat. I would pour the solution on a rag, light it, and hold it in my hand. It was burning. Everyone saw the flames. No one there knew fire can also burn cold. When I saw in my mind myself burning at the stake, when Lord Mayor asked what I was thinking, I felt nothing. In my mind there was no pain. I felt no burn like when I held a rag. It took me 70 years to realize this. Who knows what fears stand in the way of knowing God? Now that I am near the end of my days, I am wiser now. In my memory, I still see myself riding in the car with my Lord. He asked me if I am willing to pay the price. I wonder what I would say now. This is a true story. If you would like to read my book, Irwin and the Avatar, you can contact me. Now, how about this? I will grant you anything. Anything? That's the title. It really happened. The great Avatar, who could really do this, asked the man who came to him that he would grant him whatever he wanted. Maybe you would like to be the richest of men, or have the power to control whatever life brings. Women can be at your beck and call, or be a man who the elite of the world comes to, a leader of men and countries. Anything means anything you want. Maybe the great Avatar did not say it exactly in these words, but it meant the same thing. Or he said, better yet, just be as you are and do exactly as I say. What would you choose? The man, I am told, was Francis Brabazon. He lived by Mayor Baba's command. After all was said and done, he would not have it any other way. See what real love can do? It makes you a lover in the greatest love story the world can know. You won't mind giving up all, including every opinion you ever held, if only the almighty lover tests your love with the age-old choice. If I learned anything, I learned this. When eternal love calls, do not look the other way. Love you always, Irwin. What do divine eyes see? That's the title. He said, none can see you except with eyes divine. Is this something I'm supposed to do? Who or what will I see that I do not see now? With what other eye will I see with? How will I do this? Now that I am finished asking, nothing has changed. Someone said, there is another eye, the one you see your dreams with. I am told that is the eye I will see God with, more clearly than I see with the two eyes. The maker of everything, the mind's eye, no limits to this eye. I can experience the bliss of the soul, the knowledge of all things, beauty unsurpassed. Sounds good to me. But how do I do this? I read it in a book, The Wonders Hidden in Myself. Is there anyone out there that can show this to me? That's when I heard about you. So I crossed an ocean to see you, who lived on the other side of the world. There you were, dressed in white. Others were in the room. You embraced me and kissed me on my cheeks. You asked me to sit near you, to stay close. I was burning to ask this one question I came there for. Then my chance came. I spoke it in my mind. Show me God. I want to see what I have never seen before. For ages I've been hearing about this great God. Now it's time to see this for myself. Then in your silence you spoke with your hand signs. something you had been saying all along. I cannot repeat it the way he said it, but I will try. You were sent to me by another master. Someday, somewhere, somehow, I will give you what you want. Do not think I am this body. I am not this body that you see. I have come down from the highest to bring you up to my level. You will see me as I really am. You are sleeping and dreaming that all this is real. I have come to wake you up from this dreaming. I said it before. I will say it again. I have not come to teach, but to awaken. No one understands me until they understand me as infinite love. Meher Baba. All this is true, in case you're wondering. Now this is titled The End of the World. Everyone is always interested in the end. Well, here we have it. He said 3/4 of the world would be destroyed. This was not said by any ordinary man who tries to predict the future. This was said by the God-man who makes the future. You may believe him or not, but he did say it. Many were shocked and begged him not to do this. Then he said something remarkable and put their fears to rest. 3/4 of the world's ignorance will be destroyed. Later he told of the golden age to come, that he was here to take us out of a dark age. In this world of toils and troubles, where is there room for love? All the wonders that the human mind can think of, be they of the arts, music, the sciences, or the great stories told, only means something when I love you enters the picture. Someone once said, death cures all ills. But I say, love does a better job. It is said, you were there before the world was, that you are the very self in everyone. It is you and your love for us that will be there at the end of the world. This is titled, It's Magic. Who says magic does not exist? Not the kind that magicians do. That is make-believe magic, good for shows to fool you. There is a magic of the soul, no fooling about that. The magic of the soul can make any dream come true. It can bring love into your life when none was. It can make you experience your all-powerful self. That's real magic. Will it, and it is there. If you would like to do magic, go to the master magician of the soul. When the great astrologer came to him, he asked the master of life and death if he believed that the stars guided human destiny. The great one said, if you follow me, I will teach you how to guide the stars. This really happened. Now, if that is not magic, I don't know what is. The thing about magic is that it is no different than the laws of nature that is everywhere. You won't call it magic when you discover how it works. Magic is the mystery of not knowing how I did it. You can call it a miracle if you like, as long as you don't know how it was done. But once you know, will you call it magic? Still, I love magic, especially the magical feeling of love. I can't see love. I can't see God. But I know you're there. You both came to earth in human form. Meher Baba, how did you do that? It's magic. Today I'm including two stories that share the same meaning. The first is titled The Bad Boy. Boy, was he bad. He was angry most of the time. Hurting people was no problem for him. He was a terror on four wheels in his car. He hadn't killed anyone yet. Offer him some money, and he would make you dead. Give him a gun and watch him go. He was only 10. I could see it now. Reform school, jail, and maybe the chair. What kind of future does this kid have? Still, there is a man who loves boys, girls, men and women like this. They're all the same to him. The worse they are, the better he likes them. No ordinary man for sure. Now, what can anyone do for the murderers, muggers, rapists, genocide killers, the worst of the worst? Who can love such animals in human form? Is it possible to love an insect that takes a form like us? So a man, not like us, also takes human form. He does not punish for misdeeds. Even if you were to torture him, crucify him like Jesus, skin him alive like Shamsi Tabriz, he will not retaliate or think less of you. Could you do that? I could not. But then, as I said, he is not like us. Instead, he declares something amazing that no man I have ever heard would say. Even if the worst scoundrel were to stand before me, I could make him realize God in less time than the flash of a second. I will turn sinners into liberators. In the face of this, the bad boy does not stand a chance. I did not stand a chance, nor did all the people I know, be they angels or devils, stand a chance that came into his company. This is the man who sees himself as the self of everyone. He is the transformer of minds. Who else can turn the greatest sinners into the greatest liberators like himself? Lovingly always, Irwin Locke. Everyone stands a chance. Now the second one is titled The Man on the Hill. This is a true story. There was really a bad man who lived in the village at the bottom of the hill. He controlled the village people the old-fashioned way, with fear and intimidation. He made his living as a thief. He would steal from the rich and the poor equally. He had no scruples. He lived by no law except his own. If you got in his way, murder was no stranger to him. Then he got the news. The man at the top of the hill was calling him to come up the hill. This was the mighty Sacha-Mang. He obeyed no one. This was unheard of. Who would dare to beckon him? So he ignored the call. But then his mind began to work. Who is this that calls me? His curiosity began to plague him. I must know who this is. So he, the great and fearless Sacha-Mang, trod up the hill. But he did not come alone. He brought with him his gang. Now it is recorded in Lord Mayor what happened. As soon as he came before the beloved master, he prostrated himself at his feet. What, you may ask? Sacha-Mang has never done this before. People would bow before him, afraid of what would happen to them if they did not show the proper respect. Then the great Lord said to the humble man, I will paraphrase this. You come before me, but will you do my bidding? First, you must give up your thieving, murdering ways. Be careful how you answer. If you agree before God, I will take care of you and your family. If not, go your way as before. You will not have my protection. But if you agree and do not do, God will be displeased and you will become paralyzed. Satyamang in that moment chose to become a humble disciple. In one moment, his life changed. When Mayor Baba would call the poor to him and bow before them, he would call Satyamang to stand with them so he could bow to him as well. Now tell me this. When the meanest, most depraved man can be saved from the fates that await him, then what are my chances? Maybe now I can better understand why Saint Francis of Assisi said, when asked, why did God choose to make a saint of you when you were such a scoundrel? He is reported to have said, God wanted to show that if I could be made into a saint, then he could do that for you too, no matter what you have done. In his mighty love, Irwin. The powers that be. When I went to see the Master of Universes, was it me that made that decision? Or was someone higher up guiding my mind to see him? What lies behind the veil that I do not see? When he said no one even hears my name unless I will it, I thought it was me who willed it. But then there is the veil, that impenetrable veil blocking my vision. I am grateful to you for luring my mind into your company. There's a lot the God-man has to suffer when he decides to free someone from the bondage of ignorance and pain. He has to do it with love. He has to make you weep for him and for those who also suffer. Maybe there is a whole planet of people he wants to free from the endless rounds of births and deaths. It takes a lot of love to free so many people. Bliss and the knowledge that comes with it does not come cheap. How would you free with love so many people ingrained with ages of selfishness? It takes someone who is not contaminated by this egotism. If I lay down my life to save you, how will you respond? Will you love me, whereas you could not do so before? See what sacrifice can do? It can turn on even the coldest heart. What would you have to do to make a whole planet of frozen hearts love you? Oh Lord, you have your work cut out for you. How can a man live in every heart and mind, knowing all and not know love, not be love? So when you ask the Almighty One, why do you allow misery and suffering? Look at who you are asking. He knows only love. Still, we will ask eternally, why do you allow us and yourself to suffer? Great, all-powerful God of love. Lovingly, Irwin. This is the transforming lady. He was just an ordinary boy. He was riding his bicycle to school when he met the transforming lady. He saw her each day in passing, but she knew him. Her eyes were filled with love for him. She kissed him on his forehead, and then something happened which no words can describe. He died on the spot. His body was living, but he was not in it anymore. His body wandered around aimlessly. He was somewhere else. His mother thought that he might have gone mad, but he was not. The transforming lady had worked fast. Enlightenment doesn't take long. A second might be too long. What happened to him was different than what he knew before. Suddenly he became what he always was, the only one in existence. As he later declared, the cosmos is a dream. Only the infinite self we call God is real. Boy, what a change. To go from a boy going to school to the consciousness of being everywhere in everything. All-knowing, enjoying unlimited bliss and love. Who wouldn't like it? The makings of an avatar. Hazrat Babajan, she was called. She could make a beggar into a king or a boy into everything. One day you will meet your transforming beloved, who will love you so much as to give you the treasure that includes all treasures. When that happens, it won't take long, less than a second, I am told, to become the most beautiful being that ever was, irresistible to the core, someone the world will love and want to become. Oh, man, one, you can do this. This is your destiny, to make us what you are. Most lovingly, always, Irwin. If I were you, this is the title. Oh Lord, what would I do if I were you? I heard there is no end to what you do. You tell of a conscious state in which such souls on that plane can create worlds, breathing with all kinds of life. Is this what I would do if I were you? This place is not for me, so you say. One fatal mistake and a precipitous fall in evolution back to stone consciousness. Certainly, I am not so perfect as to be beyond mistakes. He is wise. I better not go there. Instead, there is a plane in the mind where thoughts are made and realms where dreams are real, without the limitations of the earth plane. Happy states of all kinds that once you enter, you do not want to leave. Certainly a state I would consider if I were you. But no, this too is not for me. There is more to go. There is the great mirror, where the mind is the mirror of the soul. What's a soul? It's me, always was. But in this mirror I see me. What a glorious being I am. I see myself as everyone and everything. Who knew I would see my light when I saw you on earth? When I saw you on earth, it was my light all along that I saw coming out of you, calling me. In this mirror, I can see the truth. If I were you, what would I look like? How would I feel? What would I want? No mind, however great, can show me that. But you can show me. It just takes a touch. When the drop touches the ocean, it becomes the ocean with all the innumerable drops in it. If I were you, I would do everything just like you once I became what you are. Great Lord, no mind has the power to do what your love can do. To make a world full of your lovers, one with the only one. So I say, like my mother used to say, isn't love great? Irwin. I hope that was clear, that one. Masters of Eternity. Now this one you'll get. And it's probably the last one in my book. It is. The next one will be something that Baba wrote. And that will conclude my book. But for now, Masters of Eternity. This planet is over 4 billion years old. I have lived 84 of those years. Compared to the planet, I hardly lived. But if you hear what the Masters of Eternity say, I am much older than all the planets in the heavens. I am such an old soul. However, I don't remember any of it. Too bad. All those missing lives with so many adventures, loves, and things I did. Forgotten pages. What would the Grand Masters of Eternity show me if they willed? But they do not show this blind man what happened to him. I'm at peace, not knowing so much. Then there is the future, all that I will ever do or think, what a life I live that the Masters have ordained. Tell me this, great Master of love and life, if you were me, what would you do? What will happen to me when the finite man sits with the infinite man? At least this much did happen. Now you can do what I came for. Or was it you the whole time drawing me to you to turn a finite man into an infinite one like yourself? You are my true love. Is there no end to what your love can do? Now, here's the conclusion. Dear friends and God lovers, I will close my book with a ghazal from the boy Merwan when Hazrat Babajan gave him the enlightenment, later known as Meher Baba. Merwanji composed the following ghazal dedicated to Babajan. O beloved Master, I am eternally grateful to you. If I had 100,000 lives, I would sacrifice every one of them at your feet. You drowned me in the eternal ocean of oneness and transformed me into an ocean like yourself. In the twinkling of an eye, you made a lover into God, and God I have become. O Emperor of Masters, O Ocean of Mercy, O Perfection personified, Sadguru, if your merciful glance falls on anyone, a beggar turns into a king. Gods, goddesses, angels, celestial beings, and men are all awed by the brilliance of your divinity. O enlightened Master of the three worlds, even if I were to transform my body into the sandals of your feet, it would be nothing in comparison with what you have done for Merwan. Meher Baba, Jai Meher Baba. Thank you. Jai Baba. These are circulars that have not come out yet because they've been written since this book was published, since this was done. So I've got 5 here that I've written since then, and I continue writing. I didn't think I would be writing anymore, but then they started to come, and here they are. So I'm going to read them, and you'll hear 5. Maybe there'll be more later, who knows. And this one is titled, Here is a Baba Chutzpah. I know what you're going to ask, but that's okay. Dear friends and Mayor Baba lovers, let's talk what is chutzpah. If I were God, now that is chutzpah for me to, I'll just add this, for me to say I am God, if I were God. Now you know what chutzpah is, so I'll just start again. If I were God, now that's chutzpah. One day, a young man heard about the highest of the high in a book. He said, I never met the highest before. Now I want to meet him. Frankly, he didn't know anything about high or low, but still he thought high must be better than low where he was from. Others said, no one can see him without an invitation. You can't go. So he wrote to the high one, and surprisingly, a quick response was received. A 1-hour audience was granted. So the low was to meet the highest. What would happen now when low meets high? This is what happened. High said, I am having a dream, and I'm dreaming that I am you. My dream is exciting. There is love, wars, movies, terror, and so many great wonders, and all forms of life. All this so I can be you and everyone else in my dream. Now you come to me. Lo comes to me. Finite man comes to infinite man. You are drawn to me because I am dreaming I am you. You have defied all odds to get to me. That is the chutzpah I love. When I give you my chutzpah, there is nothing like it. You will love it too. In his mighty love, Irwin. And then there's a note here. This is based on my meeting with Mayor Baba. However, an accurate description can be found in my book, Irwin and the Avatar, My True Story, for those who want to know that. Now this is the second one that I'm going to read. It is titled, I Remember It Well, The Enlightenment. I was walking down a winding path. At the end of the path, I could see the great perfect master, Upasani Maharaj, looking at me. On either side of the path were deep pits with people trying to get out. But they could not. I stayed on the path till I met the great master. He got up and led me into a nearby forest. We both sat down on a tree trunk that was lying on the ground. Then he spoke to me. Your time has come. I seemed to know what he meant. The time had come for my enlightenment. Then suddenly I woke up. It was a dream. I will always remember it. It was so powerful. Now it happened that the great avatar, Mayor Baba, wanted to play a game of cards. This time, it was no dream. I joined the game. If I were to lose, I would have to rub my nose on the carpet. The game was fast. Everyone was in a circle around the master. One card was dealt up, the other down. Every other person would lose or win. Then he said, the losers are the real winners. To rub your noses in front of me will benefit you greatly. I don't know what will happen, but I do know that no one benefits alone. Benefits grow when they are shared. I feel like a pebble he threw into the pond. His benefits are like the ripples that go everywhere. Everyone it touches receives his benefit. What benefit would you like? How about the greatest one of all? It contains every power, the knowledge of everything, the bliss eternal, love and more love. And that is just the beginning. If you want his benefit, then you'll want this one. It was named long ago, the Enlightenment. This next one is called The Messenger. Dear Mayor Baba lovers and friends, I went to the Avatar and asked him to show me God. Why did I do this? I did not know anything about God, who he is, where did he come from. Why would such a vast and all-embracing consciousness want to pick me to show this? So I began thinking about this. I began to speculate. Was there a higher being who knew all this? Did he implant in my innocent mind the desire to know God? Did such an advanced soul arrange my meeting with the great Lord, so that when he looked at me to see why I had come to him this day, he would see the message implanted in me by the Master seeking enlightenment? When Mayor Baba said to me one day, you were sent to me by another master, was it because some master had love for me and wanted to help me? Or was it to deliver his message, or both? I never thought about this before. Why now does it suddenly dawn on me? How my life may be intertwined with the lives of the great and small when I went to the Lord. Maybe it wasn't just for myself. Now this one is titled The Avataric Office. And what an office it is. He who occupies this office can create universes with all sorts of life. Someday each created soul will occupy this office. How is that possible? I'm a created soul. Does that apply to me too? But it all comes down to understanding the ocean. So many bubbles on the surface of the ocean, each made of nothing but ocean. Suddenly one bubble becomes so big it bursts and merges with the ocean it was created from. Now it is the whole ocean, not an individualized bubble anymore. But you are the ocean of consciousness. I am made of nothing but you. What can I become? Only you. And so will everyone and everything. When the ocean comes down into man form, what will it do? You will play your eternal game, turning us into yourself. You will do whatever it takes to shake the world with every calamity and to live in it yourself as well. You will open your universal heart for us to enter. There is none like you or us, for that matter. We will pray to you to receive your graces, bow down to you, even love you. There are those who would crucify you for all the suffering there is in the world, but none can escape you. You will awaken anyone who comes for any reason. Then behold, I and everyone else becomes conscious of the ocean that you always are. We never were anything else. Then we cannot help but play the avataric game in this great world of imagination. I and whoever become one with the ocean will occupy the avataric office, whose business is to wake us up. And there's an epilogue to this. When I came to Mayor Baba, he asked me what I wanted. I said, to become like you. Little did I realize then that there was no one else I could become. In his everlasting love, Irwin Locke. Now, the final one of the 5 that I wrote since the circular book was written is this. This is for all daddies, Mayor Baba lovers, and my friends now and in the future. And it's titled Big Daddy. I love my Big Daddy, and he loves me. We get along just fine. I have a problem. If I have a problem, I go to him and he solves it. What more can I ask for? That's love for you. My Big Daddy has a lot of children. They live in many places. Some are just born, and others have grown very old. Some know of him. Others are waiting to find out. How can one man have so many children that are not his own? How could my Big Daddy do this, whereas I could not? When I visited him in his human form, there were always lots of children behind his couch. They liked feeling the warmth of his personality. He liked laughter and fun, just like the kids. When I was there, 200 people had come from the villages and outlying areas to visit him. They all loved my Big Daddy, too. One day, the ice cream man came with big tubs of ice cream. Big Daddy would serve a big scoop to all of us. Who would not love a man like that? Big Daddy was full of light and love. He said the wisest things. He could do it without speaking, just through hand signs. He told me, "Don't worry, I know everything. I will help you." I love my Big Daddy. You will too, once you meet him. Papa.
Here in your garden, with roses and radiant bougainvillea, you are sitting next to me, fingering the strings of my heart. I love to hear you singing crystal droplets of love, like a gentle rain the parched earth again. Though you have gone away, your sweet, sweet love is here to stay. Your chair, your pillows too, your mandali, they still take good care of you. Even now we can visit thee for lunch or afternoon tea in Meherazad, the home of our Lord. Here in your garden, soft breezes blow, the leaves fall like a gentle snow. Cooing quietly, your lovely dove is content to flit from tree to tree. I sit here waiting, waiting to see your smile, when all the while you are in my heart. Here in your garden, with roses and radiant bougainvillea, you are sitting next to me, fingering the strings of my heart. You are singing in my heart. You are the garden of my Krishna is mine. I belong to Krishna. I have nothing to do with anyone. My beloved is the one who wears the peacock crown. I have no father, no mother, no friend or brother. Only Krishna is mine. The tears of love for him are falling into my heart, and a beautiful flower is growing and flourishing and filling my heart with bliss. Krishna is mine. There is no one for me but him. मेरे तो गिरिधर गोपाल दूसरा ना कोई मेरे तो गिरिधर गोपाल दूसरा ना कोई मेरे तो गिरिधर गोपाल जाके सिर मोर मुगत मेर के सिरा मोर मुकत मेरो पति सोई मेरो तो गिरिधर गोपाल तात मात भात बंधु अपना नहीं खोई तात मात बात बंधु अपना नहीं खोई चांद दाई सुना की दान चांद दाई सुना की दान क्या करे है कोई मेरे तो गिरिधर गोपाल Asuana jala sicha prem bel boy Asuana jala sicha prem bel boy Ab to bayal gai Ab to bayal gai Ananda halla hoi Ai maye bhakti kaj jagat dek moi Ai maye bhakti kaj jagat dek moi Dasi mera giridhar prabhu Dasi mera giridhar prabhu Dasi mera giridhar prabhu Taro abamoi Mer to giridhar gopal Dusara na koi Mer to giridhar gopal Giridhar Gopal